Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth and knowledge, welcome to a one-of-a-kind experience that will take you on a captivating journey beyond our world. Today, we have a special treat for you as we sit down with the renowned Andromedan Contactee Alex Collier. Prepare yourself for a rapid-fire question and answer session that delves into the depths of cosmic wisdom and unveils the mysteries of the universe. As always, please remember to like this video and share it with your friends and family. That way, it gets seen by more truth seekers. So, without further ado, here are today's rapid-fire questions and answers.
Alex, what can you tell us, please, about the planet Venus that is not commonly known by astronomers? What beings may live there below the surface?
Okay, Tom, good question. There is fourth dimensional and fifth dimensional life on Venus. There is also third and fourth dimensional life inside the planet as well. I'm not sure how much astronomers actually know and how much they're allowed to even say. Now, the Russians have been pretty open, in the past. They talked about some of their satellites in Venus, and they've spent a lot of time and money exploring Venus, and that's because of they're familiar with history and the relationship that the Chaldeans had with the Titans, aka the Venetians. So they're aware of that history. Russians pay attention to history. Russian satellites picked up oxygen in the Venusian atmosphere, which is supposed to be 10,000 degrees and sulfuric acid. All that's bullshit. It's all bullshit. Um, I have a burr under my saddle about Venus, and that is that if they've been here all this time and they've been our neighbors, why the fuck haven't they helped us sooner? They're our next door neighbors. Why haven't they helped us sooner? So I'm going to end it there.
You recently said that we left 3D, but I don't recall that you said we were in 4D. Would you elaborate on that from Bryn Nakahara?
Well, I said we're leaving third density. Consciously, many of us are already in fourth. And that's the expansion of our awareness. That is the recognition of our spiritual selves as well. That is the part of us that's already integrating with the universe once again, or with the heart of God. And that is beyond any religion that we have on the surface. That's an experience. That's a personal relationship with Source. And, there are no books on that. It's something that can only be experienced. It will become more and more obvious to everyone as our frequency continues to rise and we begin to experience more miraculous phenomena than what we've already seen. Okay. Um, the fact that we're leaving the Luciferian and the dark uh, system behind, the fact that we've all been waking up to it, uh, is proof of a shift in frequency. Now remember, everything's a hologram. All of it is a hologram. Color, light, and sound. Everything's made up of that. Okay? The higher it gets, that which cannot vibrate at that frequency is removed. Well, that's what we're seeing. Okay? We're seeing that which cannot vibrate at a higher frequency, it's being removed. And we're watching the removal of that system, that frequency, that physicality, that belief system. We're watching it being removed from our existence. Uh, as individuals, when you change your perspective, when you've gone through, whether it be a dark night of the soul or any other experience that's emotional or traumatic, and you come out the other side and you're shifted, you've changed, and you know it, what happens? Many people in your life, they go away. They just fade out, and you begin another trajectory. That's because your frequency has shifted. They're not in the same place as you, and they go away. This is no different, except this is a civilization, a planet that's going through this thing now. And we're all a part of it, as well as going through our own individual experiences. It's that symbiotic relationship again. Everything is connected. You know, um, you know, even those who are atheists, it's such a goof. They still have a soul. They haven't discarded their soul. They still have a soul, even though they don't believe in it. Um, and at some point they'll swing around. They'll circle back. It's inevitable. So, but we don't have to wait for them. You see, we don't have to wait for them at all. We just keep moving forward.
Alex, what are the connections between Saturn and Satanism, between the black rock and the black cube, and explain what the rings of Saturn really are?
God, that's a webinar in itself. You know, I can't answer that in less than 20 minutes, and I don't necessarily want to dodge it, but at the same time, it deserves more attention than the next 20 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to address that in the next webinar. All right. But here's a question for you to ponder. Why was CERN, the portal that they were trying to open, why was it aimed at the North Pole of Saturn? Okay. Why did they choose, when they turned that sucker on, why did they choose to aim it at the North Pole of Saturn? I'm going to leave that with you until the next webinar. And I know we have a Q&A next, and then we have a webinar after that. we will address that, and it's probably time to do that.
Alex, can you share some of your experiences or knowledge about the various military super soldier programs utilized in space? And is it true that most nations' space programs work together, both militarily and commercially, out in the cosmos?
Well, militarily, you have you have a corporate military, such as non-government organizations, NGOs, and then you have real military. There has been a disconnect between the military industrial complex. A lot of that is being pulled together now because corporate interests have stirred up a lot of shit out there by their behavior. And their behavior has always been dictated by the bottom line. And that shit won't fly anymore, especially when you're dealing with civilizations who don't get that because they don't use money. And to justify going to another planet and behaving in a nefarious way over this, that shit does not fly. Which is why, for the most part, there has been so much pushback to force all that shit back to this planet to be dealt with. As far as the super soldiers, there are many other people. There's Randy Kramer. There's Michael Jaco, Tony Rodriguez. There are many people out there who are exceptional speakers that have actual real life experience about those things because they've lived it. That's their lane. That is not my lane, and I cannot speak to that because I myself have not had the experiences they have. So you might want to talk to them, or do the research and listen to their talks, their webinars, their lectures to get that kind of information. Okay, that's not my lane. That's theirs.
Hi, Alex. Have the A's suggested to you how to prepare for whatever the deep state may throw at us? They know it's a sinking ship they're on and will try to do as much damage as they can before going down. Can you give us some feedback of the best way we can prepare for this also?
Well, I've shared with you over the years many of those things. I've mentioned making sure that your pantry is always full, with at least a month to 3 months worth of food, even if it was just a meal a day. You know, pasta keeps well, jarred tomato sauces keeps well, canned vegetables, all those things keep well. There are many bags of rice, oatmeal, uh, you know, many things that you can do. Silver, having silver on hand, having some cash on hand, water, having some additional backups of water. I've shared all these things over the years with everybody. Uh, what was it, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when we first started the webinars? I talked about how the shit was about to hit the fan and that the bad guys were going to throw everything against the wall. And I shared with you then things to do. Some have done it and others haven't. Well, now we have things have changed. You can't get everything you want at the market anymore. And you don't know when the next batch of it's going to show up. And we know that there are issues with the monetary system, the currency. We also know, if you're paying attention, that it's going to be changing from the commercial banking system into a quantum financial system using blockchain. We know that banks are moving to blockchain, at least here in the United States, and I believe it's the same everywhere. We also know that many banks will be closing because they do not have any gold or precious metal reserves. They will be gone, out of business, OB, which will make things really interesting because now in some towns and cities, you may only have one bank. Some cities will not have any banks. Looking at credit unions is another way to go, because that money is pooled for the community. You know, it doesn't go into the hands of a corporate banking institution. Credit unions work within the community. And it's a much better structure, frankly, in the long run. So there's all these things you could have been doing all this time. I don't know how much time you have to get some of these things done. But if you have a list of the most important things you need to do to survive for, let's just say, a month, for 1 month, if you didn't have gas in your car and you couldn't get to the market and no one else could, what would you have around the house to get you through 4 weeks? Plan it out. Write out what you would need each week, each day. What would the meal be? And plan for it. And plan for it. Gold's over $1,900 an ounce. Silver's around just over $25. Silver is the buy. It is the buy. And if you can get some, whether it's, Morgans or pre-1964 coins or silver eagles, although they're a premium right now, big time premium. There's all kinds of things you can do. Silver bars, 1 ounce silvers, you can get it for just a few dollars over spot, but you have to do it now. When the shit hits the fan, it's going to be too late. It will not be available. Okay? Because if you don't have fuel, the postal system doesn't have fuel. So you're never going to get your mail. You'll never get the goods. So you have to plan now. Okay? Strategic thinking can be really fun. It's like a puzzle. Okay? If this situation happens, how do I deal with it? And then you plan. What you do is you reverse engineer what that situation is. You take your worst case scenario and you reverse engineer it. How am I going to survive it? And that's what you do. And you'll be amazed at the things that you know that you didn't know, or the things that you have around the house that are really useful, and how creative you can be in coming up with solutions to impossible situations.
Do you know if the 12,000 plus year old Lemuria survivors' fifth dimensional city of I've run out of breath, of Talos under Mount Shasta is real and part of the inner Earth Agartha network? If so, would it be wise of us to consciously try to get in touch with our inner Earth neighbors in the collaborative effort to bring about the creation of the new Earth?
Those that live in the inner Earth and in those cities will approach humanity at some point in the future. And the reason they have remained scarce is because we're into, one, we're too violent, or we're into worship. Two, we want to be saved because we're into worship. That is not at all what they're about. They have been through their own shit in 12,000 years, or 21,000 years, or 30,000 years. They have all been through their own stuff. They look at us and they watch the decisions we make. They watch how we give our power away. They have watched how we have surrendered our freedoms. And they're like, why do we want to hang out with these guys? What would be the point? We'd only have to try to fix them or rescue them. And frankly, they're not interested. They're not interested. And they shouldn't have to. They know what's happening here on the surface. They have people that come and go all the time. They know what's happening. They're also in touch with those off world. They know what's coming. Now, it could be that they're doing some things to prep and help humanity at some point in the future. But humanity has got to take a stand together on its own future. Do you know what I mean when I say that? We have got to take our own stand. What is it we will not do anymore? What is it we fucking want? What does humanity want? You know? It's all talk until there's action. It's all talk until there's action. And they know that because they've been there. They have history. They know who the Orion group is. They damn sure know who the reptilians are. They know. They know what we've been up against. But how do you help someone who doesn't want to help themselves? How do you do that? Truth is, you can't. So they're watching and they're waiting. They're waiting for humanity to grow a spine.
Alex, do you know anything about the ET space arcs, the ARK, that are being activated here on Earth? Michael Salla was giving info on this. Have the A's mentioned this to you at all? There's one on the Atlantic Ocean, and it's huge. If there are such things, what would be their purpose?
Well, you know, this was something we talked about yesterday, the three of us. And I will just say this, that interview covers that very, very well. We all went into in depth with it. The question is, yes, these things have been here. Some of them have been left behind. Sometimes the technology became obsolete, and for others, there was no need for it. So they just left it behind. What's interesting is how old these things are and the fact that they still work. They certainly weren't built with planned obsolescence. But, you know, there's all kinds of equipment that's all through our solar system. I talked years about mining equipment in the rings of Saturn and other equipment on other moons that operates itself, basically. And they have android maintenance crews. Some of these mining ships are 10,000 miles long, if you can imagine that. So this is nothing new. It's new to us, only because, you know, we've been trapped in the matrix. And but our forefathers, they knew about this, the Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Macedonians, the Chaldeans, the Greeks, some of the Romans, they knew about the history. The Indians of India, the Hindus, they knew. They, you know, this is all part of history, that this stuff is here and that it's been around and it's been buried. The United States military was in, when we were in Afghanistan, we were well aware of at least one particular craft that was embedded in a cave, and they couldn't get near it because of its protection systems. Yeah, the stuff is there, but, you know, how do you get it open? How do you get it open? And that was discussed yesterday between Elena Michael Sala and myself. So maybe you should refer to that so we can get in a couple more questions. That part you'll probably find extremely enlightening.
Alex, it seems as if timelines are merging or crossing in certain ways. Can you please explain the phenomenon of deja vu? And is it a conscious connection point between timelines?
Well, it is for the individual. I'm not aware of any deja vus as of late. I've not had a deja vu in several years now, and I used to have them all the time. And many other people that I've spoken to have also noticed the absences of deja vu. So all I can tell you is that we are operating on one timeline. Everyone is, which is why we're taking down the deep state. They have nowhere to go. They can't run and hide. They can't get in a jump room and go someplace else. All that's over. All that is over. And if they do manage to go somewhere, there's already white alliance waiting for them, and they're immediately taken into custody. So, and I absolutely need to know that information to be a fact. So I don't know how to address that question because, to my knowledge, none of that is occurring presently. The merging of a timeline is the merging of two different realities that may have been virtually simultaneous, but there were very subtle differences with those timelines. Now, it's also possible that what can occur is that for a brief moment of time, there will be two of you on this particular timeline. Generally, what happens is the more authentic or the more real version of you, which would be the you that actually first incarnated before other timelines were created, you remain. The other literally just disappears, it just evaporates. And there is some debate as to whether or not when you experience deja vu, that is actually a transference of their memories to you, which is why you remember. Those memories are not technically yours, they're another versions of yours that is now merging with you. So, which is an interesting perspective. We'll find out together.
There you have it, fellow truth seekers. An enlightening and exhilarating rapid-fire question and answer session with the remarkable Alex Collier, sharing his profound encounters with the benevolent Andromedan extraterrestrial beings. As we continue on our cosmic journey, let us embrace the wisdom of the Andromedans and carry their message of love, unity, and compassion with us. Together, we can create a world where humanity stands united, ready to embrace the wonders that await us in the vast expanse of the universe. If you found this rapid-fire question and answer session fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your friends and family. Subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more captivating content like this. Thank you for joining us on this incredible adventure. Until next time, may the stars guide you on your path of enlightenment and exploration, and remember to always seek knowledge and stay curious. If you would like to see Andromedan Contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we host an online seminar 3 times a month on a Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information and dates of upcoming online seminars, please visit alexcollier.org.
Please click on one of the above videos to seek more of Alex Collier's knowledge.